Okay, the first thing we're going to do is start on the sauce. I use Hunt's tomato sauce, unflavored. You can use whatever you like. Some Himalayan or kosher salt, some garlic. I like a little bit heavy on the garlic. It helps authenticate that Italian taste. If you like a little oregano. One thing I do recommend is make this the night before. It helps with the flavors. But in addition, the last thing you want to do is put warm or even hot sauce on your pizza dough as you're making it. Remember, everything is to taste the way you like. The next thing you want to do is preheat your oven. I have mine preheated at 500 degrees. It's currently at 450. You want it hot. You want it to reach the 500 degree mark 30 minutes before your first pizza goes in, because you want that stone, that circular stone that you see there, to be very hot. If your stove can only go to 450 or 475, that'll work also. Okay, here we have two dough balls that are about 300 grams a piece. They're going to make two pizzas that are about 15 inches in diameter. Normally, when I start cooking Italian, whether it's manicotti, lasagna, or even pizza, I like to get my blood a little warmed up. Nothing wrong with a little wine, a little vino, if you know what I mean. Here we have a California Red, Cabernet. Yeah, so bacon, it's some serious work. I mean, I get really thirsty. I mean, really thirsty. Cheers. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is put some flour on the work counter. I don't have a proper shaker, so I'm just kind of using this small little screen to disperse the flour evenly. I could have used my hands, but it doesn't really do as good as this does. Now I'm going to empty the dough ball. The bottom side of that container, that'll be the bottom crust side. The top side will be the cheese side. I don't make a lot of pizzas, so my technique is not the greatest. It could be improved. But the first thing I do is I work on the crust, that outer edge. You see my fingers trying to create that barrier between the cheese and the crust. That line of the crust, the outer edge. I'm using a slapping and twisting technique. I'm not that great, and thanks to my video editing techniques, I was able to edit out me drinking half that bottle of wine. And as you can see, I was getting a little bit buzzed, and then it was falling out of my hands as I was trying to use the slap and spin technique. So now I'm pulling with one hand, my left hand, and spinning with my right, trying to get that dough stretched out. Again, 99% of making New York pizza is the technique. So this slapping, it's actually using its own weight as it flips over your wrist to stretch. Again, I'm pretty snockered at this time. I'm laughing as I'm doing this. I edited out that part of the video. But I am achieving a round pizza. I think in about a minute or two I'm going to use the knuckles. That's the best technique. You actually make two fists and you fold the dough over your knuckles, and the hanging portion of the dough will stretch itself. I'll do that in about another minute or so. Here I am flouring the peel. That's what I'm going to get it onto the cooking stone with. I'm not happy with the size, so I went on to stretching a little bit more. And here's that knuckle technique. And this is actually the best technique because I'm going around the edge of the crust and I'm just stretching it. And the hanging portion is helping me achieve a full stretch and a window pane. Window pane is the thinness of the dough. And that seemed to work for me. All right, so I'm thinly slicing some part skim mozzarella cheese. By this time, the blade's looking kind of blurry. I'm just kidding. I wasn't that drunk. I think the next pie I do is going to be fresh mozzarella. I got a little thirsty again. Very hard work, as you can tell. Got hungry. Looking at the mountains out the window. By now, the wine's opening up. It's getting some air. It's got a lot of fruity tones with some licorice and pepper afternotes. So I'm doing up some sauce. I start from the middle. And as I want to disperse more sauce on there, I kind of jolt the spoon so some spills out of the spoon. And I'm going to go as far up to the edges as I can. Now again, you don't want to use super hot sauce on this. You don't even want to use warm sauce. I recommend making this sauce a good 8 hours in advance. And it was very difficult to put that sauce on, so I got thirsty yet again. What can I say? I had a stressful week at work. After using the slices, I kind of prefer, I think the next time I'm actually going to grate the cheese. Okay, so what I'm doing is actually shook the pizza on the peel to make sure it will slide off onto the baking stone. You see me shaking it. Okay, in she goes. And how I achieve this is I start towards the back of the stone, and I shake and work my way towards the front, the closest portion to me. And I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm just going to eyeball the crust, the color of the crust. I don't really do anything else. Make sure the cheese is melting, bubbling, and the crust is brown. Okay, I'm just fiddling with the oven temperature, making sure everything's okay. And I think it's time for it to come out. This pizza was hot, so I had to lift one edge up. I need to get a metal peel, actually. That way I don't need to touch the pizza with my hand. Cheese is bubbling. It's looking really good. I could have gone a little bit more cheese towards the crust edge a little bit. Other than that, it looks good. That black that you see, that's not burnt. That's actually the oil from the cheese getting on the crust. So There's actually no burning on this. And I do like how the cheese is starting to burn a little bit, that little caramelization, so to speak. But it looks really good. I'm going to let it cool off now. So here I'm showing that the bottom of the crust was not burnt. It's very crispy, actually. If anything, the bottom of the crust could have been browned a little bit more, but 500 degrees is the top end of what that oven can do. Crust was really crispy. And the pizza was still hot. So right now I'm just thinking about that very first bite. I got a good buzz going right now. And I didn't realize how hot the pizza was until I put it in my mouth. I'm being a dork right now. I got the camera facing me, showing off my hard labor. And if you look carefully, you can see the steam coming off the pizza when I put it near my face. And it burnt the roof of my mouth. And I was trying with all my might to hide it. It was hurting. And of course, I got thirsty again. But anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for joining in this video. I had a blast. I had a really good time making it. Take care.